Gladiator 2 movie review. Let me just go ahead and say this, bro. It's better than the first one. Way better. Don't let nobody tell you any different. I've been seeing some negative and mixed reviews, but I feel like a lot of people are stuck in nostalgia. I've watched the first one a couple times or multiple times before I went to go see this one. I'm sorry. It's a good movie. It's cool, but it's kind of boring, especially compared to this one. Like Gladiator 2 just has more going on. There are more fighting and action scenes, especially compared to the first one. It's a lot of talking going on in the first one, and that shit is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. My mama was watching that shit the other night, and she kept falling asleep on it because it's just kind of slow pace. Now, is the plot the best in Gladiator 2? No. There are some things I question. There are some missing pieces, but I still like this one better than the first one. Now, let's take a deeper dive into what I like and dislike about Gladiator 2 and leave Gladiator 1 alone. The main protagonist, Lucius. Now, I really enjoyed this character, and if you watch the movie, of course, he turns out to be Maximus' son, and he challenged that energy a lot in this movie. Brave and just a badass in general. And I think he portrays that underdog character really well, right? He lost everything, and now he's fighting for his freedom. He's fighting for a complete freedom, right? He don't want to serve and fight for emperors for the rest of his fucking life. And I think the actor Paul Mescal, who plays this character, did a really great job with this role. Denzel Macrinus Alonzo Harris Washington. Manipulator, narcissist, selfish, grimy, slimy, all that in one. Denzel plays evil roles so well. Like, he morphs himself into these cynical characters, puts on these Oscar-worthy performances every time he plays these type of roles. It's like he knows how to make certain facial expressions, how to say certain things, especially when he's been like the manipulator of the situation in the movie. I feel like he know how to do that shit in real life. Like, bro, he's master manipulator, bro. Yeah, in this role, man, master fucking manipulator. He does whatever to get to the top. He will manipulate you, hell, to cut your own brother's fucking throat so he could be in that position. Lucille, played by Connie Nielsen, and let me just say this. She's still beautiful. But her character kind of irritates me in a way. I feel like she does certain things that put people who she's supposed to care for or love in a fucked up position, and she don't know what to do to fix it. The Emperor brothers, Caracalla and Jita, I might be pronouncing that wrong. I know y'all go correct me in the comments. But I know some people was questioning the masculinity in this movie. They were very flamboyant and everything. But if I'm not wrong, wasn't it a lot of flamboyance and like fruitcake shit going on during those Roman times? Just a question. But I do question. This is part of the plot that fucks me up. This is why I take points off. How did they become emperors? I needed more of a background story of how they became emperors, right? Now, I know there's this original story, but I'm talking about just as far as Gladiator. How did they become emperors? What was their process like? We didn't get that. They just kind of showed up, popped up out of nowhere. I was lost on that one. But I enjoyed the performance played by these two, Joseph Quinn and Fred Hechinger. They irritated the shit out of me. I couldn't wait till both of their characters died. I actually agree with Macrinus when he manipulated both of them and killed both of them to get to the top. Marcus Acacius, played by Pedro Pascal. I'm not gonna lie. His character kind of disappointed me. He wasn't as dominant and strong as he appeared and I expected him to be. I felt like he was, and that's one of the gripes people have with this movie. He wasn't as like strong and masculine as as we expected him to be. He was too persuaded by Lucia and what she wanted, and that's what ultimately got his ass killed. And lastly, with this character breakdown, right? What happened with him, Jubarta? I feel like he just gave up. Like, he seemed so strong and powerful and shit, but I feel like he just gave up in that fight. Like, he just let the fucking monkey just tear his face off. Like, bro, what the hell happened with that, bro? That irritated me. I'm not gonna lie. Now, a gripe I did have with Gladiator 2 is the CGI with the animals. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little too animated, especially with the monkeys and the sharks. Gladiator 1 has them beat on that. Like, the tigers from Gladiator 1, they look real. I think they were real. Like, they figure out a way to make that shit look realistic as possible. Gladiator 2, you can tell they just went to straight to CGI. Overall, this is a good movie to me. Is everything perfect about it? No. Is this movie a 10 out of 10? No. Is it better than the first one? Yes, in my personal opinion. Like I said in the beginning, I give this movie a 7.5 to 8 out of 10.